Welcome to live softball action coming to you from Diamond One, West Beach, South Australia, proudly brought to you by the Aqaba Hotel, Sporty Bar and Sparms. We're wrapping up round 15, which kicked off on Wednesday night with two thrilling matchups. Falcons overpowering the Hills in the first and nail-biting 4-4 draw between the Eagles and the Rebels. Today is a crucial showdown as the third-place Seacombe Tigers, 8 wins, 5 losses, take on the fourth place West Torrens, 6 wins, 9 losses and a draw. Stakes are high, especially for West Torrens today. Currently tied in fourth with Sturt, and the Falcons have got a game in hand. The Eagles must keep winning to stay in contention for their historic three-peat opportunity. We acknowledge that today's game is played on the beautiful lands of the Ghana people. We pay our respects to the elders past and present. I'm Anthony Weatherstone. I'll be your play-by-play commentator, and for today I'm joined by two very special guests for making their debut in the commentary box. First, to my left, we have Justina Adams, the premiership winning coach of the Sturt Falcons, and obviously most would know her as the mother of Zali and Neve, a couple of girls that have gone over to college and come back and dominated. Justine is also the head coach of the state under-23s, which have made the last two finals on her watch. But she's just come back from her most recent achievement, which has been the assistant coach to the Open Women's Stars, which won the Gillies Shield. So it's an impressive resume, and welcome, Coach Adams.
Thank you, Anthony, for having me.
And softball royalty also joining us for the first time on the mic, a genuine legend in the sport in softball, South Australia. Karen Dale, current state under-18 coach, recently led her team to a third-place finish national, the Nationals over in Sydney, improving on last year. Karen's also an Australian women's selector, most recently at the under-23 level. Softball runs deep in the family. Mum, Julie Dale, Softball SA Hall of Fame. Sister Annie Fidge also was a standout player and coach in her own time. Karen's personal playing career is too extensive to list here in full. It's only a 90-minute program. But she is a multi-premiership winning catcher with the Cats, served as both a coach and president of Walkerville, has played a key role in the state high-performance programs, also was on the board of Softball SA. Her legendary catcher's diary from the Walkerville dominant era remains a treasured piece of history, and we're thrilled to have her here today. Welcome, Karen.
Thank you very much, Anthony.
There you go. So I did tell you it was a big intro.
Keep talking, that's fine. You keep talking, there's less we have to say.
So we've got two of Australia's best softball minds in the booth. We've got a big game here today between the Cats and, the Tigers and the Eagles. Plenty on the line. Karen, who from Seacombe's going to have some influence here today to make it their win?
Ooh. Look, I like to say that it takes a village. I think it's going to take everyone. Everyone does their job, just get the basics done. Should take care of itself. And
Coach Adams, West Torrens, they're probably most of their supporters are going to be very happy to see the 1-7 in the pitching circle.
Yeah, absolutely.
In a big game that they've got to win to stay in touch.
Yeah, it's great to see Steph back. Not sure if she's pitching at full speed today, but yeah, it's still definitely great to see her in the circle. She'll definitely be a big plus for them today. But their batting lineup 1-9. Izzy Benedictson, it's so great to see her back in the lineup. I think she made her comeback last on Wednesday.
Yeah, right.
So I think their lineup 1-9 is pretty impressive. So with solid pitching by Steph, and they've got a great field too. So I think they'll be looking the goods today.
So big game today, as I said. I'll do the play-by-play, and as I said, we've got two of the best minds in the country that are going to dissect this game, but we're also going to have a chat to them and find out about their recent national championship achievements and how they went about it. So we're getting ready. We've got the blue around the diamond. We've got 50 Shades of Grey behind the plates. Dave Boroknik's over at first, and a fairly good call down there at third with Pete. Producer Brandon's in the box. Reagan Diaz, national champion of South Australia, in her first at-bat since probably the Nationals. She's facing Steph Trzynski.
I would have swung at that.
Well, you do have some nicknames, Karen. I wasn't going to go live with them in the first opening couple of minutes, but we were going to get to your podcast at some stage. So
I like that.
You would have sung at that one too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Karen Dale, well renowned around the traps for chasing the high pitch and loves to drive the ball up the middle.
Can't hit him, can't stay off him. Oh, she's going to have to come back in now.
Yep.
So Steph Trzynski's first 3 pitches for 2025 so far. 3 balls as Reagan Diaz looking to be a base runner. And
Nice pitch.
Yeah, Trzynski comes straight back. Sasha Mutsi, the shortstop, is on deck.
Nice pitch.
Very nice. Wasn't expecting that.
How often does that happen when you leave the box just thinking that that little bit of salesmanship's going to help you get across the line? Full count here. Driven up the middle, just retails off glove.
Oh, she's quick.
And Diaz is quick. But Dave
one either
Borovnik, obviously tee-off time is at 3:30 at Onkaparinga because he's rung that one up in a way to get out of here
That
quick.
was a great recovery.
Yeah, good field by Steph, but Diaz is just fast.
Yeah, that was good by Steph. She kept her composure, and knowing Reagan is a quick runner, so to get her out was good play.
Fantastic.
Sasha Mutsi, the shortstop for the Tigers. I don't know, Karen. I'll give you that one. I was just
Every now and again, I stayed off him.
I was just trying to look
Every
at
now and again.
I was just trying to think how far up the box you would have been for that. And Trzynski, starting to try out some of the old pitches. The outside curve there being one of her traditional weapons.
That's a really nice pitch. Right in the zone.
Ahead in the count, Trzynski now. And asks the question on the outside. For those that don't know, or those that were born after 2015, Karen is one of those catchers when Walkerville were in a dominant area. You had some great pitchers, Tony Lohman, Kylie available. And she was a bit of a scientist as Mutsi goes down and balls thrown around to the recently married Lana Kaysler. But Karen, you had the diary, the Bible, the book that if was ever lost, there would be death.
There would be. Yes.
But it was you were a scientist back in those days, way ahead of your time. Just had all of the info and all of the batters, and it definitely helped Walkerville achieve some of the success that it did in its era.
Yeah, I took a lot of notes. Big note taker, come back in between every innings, write down exactly what happened with the hitters, where they stood in the box, what they swung at, what we pitched them, and it helped every time we got to finals. We'd sit down before the first final series, go through everything. It's so much information.
And it's obviously helpful when you can go to the likes of a Tony Lohman and a Kylie Weatherstone who can deliver. You know, Tony Lohman obviously renowned for just that devastating drop ball that she used to throw back in the day.
I was blessed with 2 pitchers of their calibre. They were both fantastic. Could move the ball.
Underneath it goes Neely Peterson, and Sophie Hoyle at first base looks right into the sun, but gets the job done for 3 up, 3 down. As we'll continue that conversation as the Eagles take to the offence. But yeah, just the ability to call it. But I mean, it's
they delivered.
Yeah,
it's easy to call a game when the pitcher's pitching what you ask them to.
Yeah.
You can set up the hitters 2 or 3 pitches ahead. You know what you're going to come back to if everything goes to plan.
Yeah, but that without that information that you collected, though, and obviously that's the skill that you've tried to teach in your coaching over the journey, but also, especially with your state 18s, Reagan, of course, was your pitching coach this season, so over in Sydney. Is that something that you were still doing?
Oh, definitely. Charting. I encourage all the girls, especially the catchers, but all the girls, when they have their at-bats, come back in, write it down. Any notes, what they got thrown, what they can do better next time, what worked, what didn't. But pitching-wise, Reagan did all our charting for us throughout the whole tournament.
Yeah,
got some fantastic data that we were updating as the at-bats went on. We'd change our charts so the catchers and pitchers knew exactly what they were doing. And then before each game, next time we came round, we looked at it. And of course, Jill, as our statistician, she had it all prepared before we went. She had the previous year's data, spray charts, everything on them. So we were as prepared as we could be.
Yeah. But that makes a difference, and that's one of the reasons, especially, the improvement that we saw in the under-18s, because obviously New South Wales and Queensland, considering their per capita data of how many people they've got and how many teams they've got and all the rest of it. But to push New South Wales in the fifth, it's a close one in the to go through. That's a huge achievement for the 18s.
Yes, they were so good. We had a few blowouts, but we managed that as best we could, and we managed the team, and they were such a great little unit. They just bounced back, and they were right behind each other. And to come through bad losses, but then to really step up in the next games and come through with some excellent hitting. They just hit all through the lineup. Their self-belief was what got them through, and I couldn't have been prouder of them.
Amazing. So, leading off for West Torrens, Coach Adams, you would know this player reasonably well, so because she's now got the word national champion next to her name. Maddie Scott, the shortstop.
Yeah, she was fantastic at Nationals. A real leader too in the team. Just takes the sport so seriously, but out there having a good time and enjoying it as well. True professional.
And we thank her very much too for letting Millie Fidge do the talking at the ceremony after the game. That was 5 minutes of brilliance from Millie that was never going to be repeated. I love it. Reagan Diaz starts with a rocket that Maddie's fouled off to the left side.
She's out swinging. She means business.
And she's got over the top.
Good catch.
And I believe that's Georgia Tompkinson, who's always done a great job for the Tigers when she's in at second base, and she's taken a ripper of a catch there on the Sporties Bar replay.
Yeah, she read it well, was up.
Yep, good angle back, fantastic.
Yep.
That's got to give you a bit of confidence.
Doesn't get it.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, beautiful.
Doesn't get any easier as a national champion, Amber Hood, comes to the plate.
I just love watching Amber play. And as a hitter, she can do everything. She's got speed, she can drop them short, she can hit it long.
Yep.
She's somebody that if she falls behind in the count, don't worry about it. She's not going to worry about it. She's still going to be just as dangerous if the count was at the start. She's one of the toughest outs in the league, and statistically having a great year. She's part of a trio of Eagles that are all doing the job. She's currently batting...
Oh, nice.
325.
Held her hands beautifully.
Just over the top of Georgia Tompkinson, and lines it out to right field, and we get our first base runner for the game. A little bit of communication there, back of what she's just seen. But along with Kaysler, Hood, Scott, 425, they're the ones that are holding it together. And as I said, the recently married Lana Kaysler at the plate, leading the team offensively with a 425 average, and also leads in RBIs with 10 for the season.
As a catcher, it makes it really difficult to call another change-up on you now, knowing that she's held her hands back like that. So that takes something out of your repertoire.
Yeah, great call.
And especially for Reagan, I think she is a pitcher that will try to mix it up a little bit. So that's a pitch that she's going to have to work on now with Amber.
Yep.
Well, the Tigers, they're a funny team in the sense that Whitney Shepherd, who was recruited to pitch their B grade, has been lights out for the Tigers when she's played. Her ERA is 1.
Yep.
And for Reagan, it's a little bit higher, just with some walks and some hits scattered amongst there. but their strikeout counts are the same. So they're both aggressive pitches that challenge the hitters.
Whitney was lights out at 23s. She really stood up, and yeah, she was our workhorse. And you know, she was one of those pitchers like, even you know, she pitched her game and then she's ready to go back in. You know, I couldn't speak highly enough of her at 23s. She's done a great job.
Yeah, she was impressive.
Yep.
Threw hard too. One
Absolutely.
of the hardest pitches
yeah,
out
definitely.
there.
Yeah.
And bats too. Everybody loves a pitcher that
Yep.
bats. So except for coaches.
Well, when they get injured when they're batting.
Yeah, I was
that's
about to say, every time they get to first,
Yeah.
do I take her off? Kaysler takes one above the letters as the count levels out at 2-2. Amber Hood still over at first. It's one out for the Eagles. We're in the bottom of the first. It's 0-0. Eagles versus Tigers. Just misses.
It's a good pitch.
And while we talk about things not getting easier, whilst not a national champion at softball, batting in the 4 spot with a 324 average is the impressive Emma Burridge. Great season last year in their premiership year again, and continuing to get the job done here. Peterson asking some questions about that last pitch of Coach Great, and is going to take this opportunity to have a bit of a chat to pitcher. Obviously, Neely Peterson, over from the NCAA Div 1 programs, obviously was catching at the Nationals too, so
Yeah,
got some insight on her.
Yeah, she's good. She calls a great game, and yeah, when pitches are missing, she'll definitely go straight to the umpire and find out where, you know, where it is missing, and then you know relay it back quick to the pitcher. But yeah, she's solid as a rock. I was going to say, I don't know how many people, or if any, have tried to steal on her because she has got a gun arm. I think there was one attempt at Nationals and she gunned her down, and yeah, I don't think there was many attempts after that.
Yeah, it's pretty good when you can just remove a running game from the opposition just by the skill of the catcher. All right, so reset here. Runners at 1 and 2, 1 out for the Eagles. 4, 5, 6 in the lineup, which is, of course, Burridge, Hoyle, Krasinski. Burridge doesn't mess around. That's going to be difficult in the sun, but it's a great catch taken out there at centre field. Hannah Cameron. And wind going from your right to left on the screen here on the Sporties Bar replay. You just see that is really good outfielding, actually.
Yeah, dealing with the sun too, so good job.
So, 2 out now. And speaking of players that can lift the ball and go deep to the fence, it's Sophie Hoyle, the first base.
That lineup doesn't get easier, does it?
No. Did you see when they added Georgia Hood before Christmas?
Yes.
I mean, what was that? I
Yes.
thought it was a practical joke.
I know.
Like, I mean, I understand the Hood sisters coming back and that's great, but, you know.
And literally jumped off the plane and come straight here and played.
Like, Hoyle came in at 8.
Yeah.
Like, what?
I know, that luxury.
Pretty good.
There's attacking Hoyle here. Burridge has replaced Hood in the speed-up catcher role out at second base. Hazel's at first. It's 2 out. Gets just jammed underneath it, and Mutzi again looking into the sun.
That was a good pitch by Reagan. She jammed her up.
Just missed and flies out and retires the Eagles. But they've got their first opportunities here, as you see on the Sporties Bar replay. Another difficult catch.
Yeah, the sun in this time slot is always something to battle with too, so you can see a lot of those girls out there have glasses on. But yeah, good job by Sasha.
Yeah, well, the glasses that I'm wearing, Coach Adams, I can assure you are purely for show. I can't see a thing in front of them, me at the moment. So if it sounds like I'm relying on you. Junior State Championships. Thank you, Brandon. Of course, we rehearsed this in the pre-game, and I've taken the opportunity to miss it out. Junior State Championships coming up out at Central Districts. Nominations closed this weekend. Still plenty of vacancies and spots. So for those under 12s mixed teams, under 14 boys and girls, under 16 boys and girls, under 18 boys and girls, get your nominations into Softball SA Friday the 7th of February. Minimum of 10 players, maximum 14. Entry fees just $300 a team, and it's going to be played out there at Ridley Reserve Elizabeth, hosted by Central Districts. And the ASA, we're doing our bit, as well as hopefully sending plenty of junior teams. We've got a big game on the Saturday night as the Seacombe Tigers and the Walkerville Cats take the ASA on the road for the Saturday night game. They're going to play it out there instead. So that's pretty exciting. So Junior State Championships, Central Districts, get your nominations in. Closing this Friday. Contact the office for any further needs. So thank you, Producer Brendan. Alrighty, as we move now here into the top of the second, Becky Havas, first base for the Tigers, leading us off.
Becky was strong at 23.
Yeah, she did. She was good. She was one of our captains there. She's a great talker, a good leader on the field, batted well. Yeah, no, she did have a good tournament.
Hit the ball hard.
Yeah.
Swings over the top of this one. Trzynski, of course, looking non-fussed as ever. 36 degrees and hasn't pitched in anger for some time and looks as calm as anything out there at the moment. Just finding her range, off-speed curve there.
Hitting her spots like that too. I mean, we know that she's not throwing at 100%, but yeah, when she's hitting her spots like that, it definitely helps.
Lots of spin on the ball.
Yeah, nice.
And positive start there for Trzynski as she picks up strikeout number 2 for the game. And it's centre fielder Hannah Cameron, Rob Laidlaw, who's taking his photos and getting his data for his write-ups. Play ball on Facebook Live. Just looking like he's just come back from Bali. So Hannah Cameron, centre fielder. Asking the question.
Yeah.
Goes uptown.
There's that pitch.
Yep.
Cameron goes with it, but gets beaten for speed.
Nice spotting. Nice.
Trzynski moves to 3 strikeouts now, back-to-back for the first time in this game.
Good calling by Amber.
Now, I've always wanted to ask this of you, Karen. Sarah Tonkin, Amber Hood. The setup on the outside. Amber does it late, Sarah does it early. What's your preference?
Oh, look, personally I set up early, always did. I think if the catcher has the mobility to set up that little bit later, it's an advantage.
Yeah, right.
It depends too on what the pitcher wants, right? That's really the place you've got to start with.
Okay.
And if the opposition's not picking up any of the tells that you're giving away, then you do what the pitcher is most comfortable with.
Great opportunity just there with an off-speed pitch. Again, as Karen mentioned before, lots of spin on it. And Shepherd opens the shoulder, lifts and hits over it, spins it back onto her feet, falls behind in the count. And
Still swinging with confidence, though. That's what you want to see.
yeah, 3 up, 3 down. And of course, you know, the icon James Harris. I said the Eagles' top part of their lineup. I said that Emma Burridge wasn't a national champion. Of course she was. She was one with Steph Trzynski and Jackie Beale back in 2015 for the under-19.
Oh,
so
of course.
Who would have thought? Anthony's wrong. So thanks, James, for making that public. But good correction, and we appreciate that. All right, so we're going to go into the bottom of the second. So Trzynski there. This is probably something that the Eagles haven't had a lot of sort of recently. I mean, the funny thing is when you look at Talia Sutton's numbers, who has had to step up in the first half of the season with massive responsibility. But when you look at what she's actually been able to do, her ERA is super impressive. Like, she's got, like, it's just over 2.
Yep.
But unfortunately, for the first time in probably a long time, the Eagles' defence has made nearly 30 errors in 10 games, which is unheard of, which has cost them 20-plus runs, which is why they are probably in the position that they are. So, I mean, Sutton's done an amazing job, but the offence, as you said before, Justina, still ticking along, still in the high 200s, and that's the thing. Seacombe's top and bottom, they're averaging 3 a game that they're scoring, but they're giving up 2.6.
Yep.
That's too fine of a margin at the end of the season. But the Eagles still scoring plenty.
Yep.
If Trzynski comes back, the field sort of tidies up and Sutton, does more of her part and they get some run support. Three-peat's not out of the question.
I think Talia Sutton's done a great job for him this year. I think to come in young girl like that and just to be given that chance, it's been probably a little unfortunate that there has been a couple of errors and they've got some runs on her. But I think on a whole she's been great for them.
She works really hard.
Yeah.
She works really, really hard. Yeah. And to be able to pitch to someone like Amber, well, that's what a young pitcher wants, right?
Yep.
Trzynski gets after it and aggressive with the bat. I mean, this is a big game because, like, if the Eagles drop this one, that's 2.5 games back and they're multiple games in front of some of the teams. Seacombe's got a couple of games up their sleeve. The Falcons, big game tonight against the Magpies. You've got a game up your sleeve as well. So it's that time of year where it all happens real fast.
That's a nice pitch.
Yeah, after Christmas, I feel like the games just go really quick and then you're on finals straight away.
Yep.
So it's important to come out and get some wins and, set you up and, get yourself on a good roll leading into finals. So, we need our bats to come alive. I think...
Trzynski gets underneath this one, inside pitch. Havas.
Just a big jam there as well.
Yeah, just working that inside. Havas takes a good catch. And again, as we've said a couple of times, you've got to remember these girls are looking into the sun here on the Sporties Bar replay, so don't think that that's an easy catch. So, you were happy to see this player in the lineup, Izzy Benedictson?
Yeah, I think she's a great talent. She's come back from a knee injury. I think, she played Wednesday night and got a hit, I think. So I think I'd seen that. It's really good to see her back in the lineup.
Swings over that one. Caitlin Holt on deck as the DP. Probably her first time being the DP in a Premier League game. And she's doing it for the offensive-led Eagles, which is testament to her. And obviously, Caitlin Holt, only player at the country championships that nominated in the draft and played the weekend. So
good on her.
Had a good weekend. Izzy's unfortunately just swung on the outside of that one as Diaz picks up her strikeout, bringing Caitlin to the plate. Jackie Buell, the ever reliable right fielder for the Eagles, on deck.
Caitlin Holt.
Is he still eligible 18s now, or she aged out now?
She did.
Okay.
She was in our squad when she did her knee.
Yeah, okay.
Couldn't play, and then she was too old this year.
Yep.
So, yeah, the one that got away.
Yeah.
It's not COVID, it's a knee injury. Is it just me, or has Diaz picked up a yard over Christmas?
She does. I feel
I'm hearing whack through the headphones, and it looks like it's just getting on some of these hitters a little bit quicker than maybe they're expecting. I mean, Hoyle got jammed and got caught. The only one that's cleared their hands so far is Amber with that shot to right field.
And that was on a change-up.
Yeah. So
held back nicely. But look, we just played each other in C grade, and we were sure the pitching plate was too close. It was coming out that fast. I'm not joking. We stopped the game to check it out. So anything's looking fast to me right now.
Exactly.
Funny story about that, but I'll have to wait for next innings because I know I've got another logo coming up, because next week it's the Pride Round hosted by the West Torrens Eagles, February 8th. So been happening for a couple of years now and always well supported. Great weekend. good merchandise, and a great time to celebrate the message. So Pride Round coming up this Saturday, hosted by the Eagles. They'll have the main game at 3 o'clock. So make sure you get down here and support them. We'll get some more details for you on the Wednesday night broadcast about who they're supporting and why. And we'll have a special commentary team available for that. So Pride Round for the Eagles coming up next Saturday here at West Beach. So just a real quick story on the what you were talking about. Seacombe's men's team played their first game at the Country Championships together out on Diamond 2, and a green shirt umpire called an illegal pitch, and that was because the run that they'd scored, the guys were pitching off the girls. Georgia Tompkinson leads off the top of the third. And tries a bunt. And Amber Hood not happy with the fact that the ball's just out of her reach.
Well, that was good, trying something a little bit different.
Yeah, trying to
get the ball into play.
Yeah. Hoyle and Kayser, though, jumped on it, of course, as you'd expect. But so we're in the top of the third here. It's 0-0. Eagles have left 4 on base so far. Tigers only the 1 base runner. In the bottom half of their lineup at the moment, after Tomlinson, we've got Bianca Pash, who's come into the lineup today. And then Tash Mays, the right fielder. Good watching by the young player.
Good pitch selection.
Trzynski picks up where she left off last innings with 3 strikeouts. That's now 4 in a row and is 5 of the first 7. So just back into the swing of things.
She's certainly moving the ball.
Yeah.
It's just messing with their timing.
They're
not quite grounded.
Yeah, those strikeouts include Mutsi, Havis and Shepherd as some of the names that have... So Bianca Pash played 18s last year?
Yep.
So she's aged out as well?
Yep. We lost about 7 or 8 last year. Oh, good job.
Good contact on the outside there.
Go back on that. Bit of top hand, that would have gone into play.
Yeah, very warm conditions down here. There's a little bit of breeze on your TV going from right to left, but when I say little, it's not much at all. It is hot out there today.
Good eyes.
Tries to make the strike zone a little bit smaller. Is that one of the good times to have a 7 o'clock game, Coach Adams?
Yeah, that's
On a
I
day
did
like
say
today.
that to the girls today. Maybe we're lucky that we jagged the 7 o'clock game.
And Pash strikes out for 5 in a row now to Trzynski. For those that know about Coach Adams, she lives in a suburb of Adelaide called Port Pirie. So when she makes a decision to come down to softball, it's a 3-hour commitment both ways, yeah?
Yes.
So, yeah, big Saturdays.
It's nice now that 23s aren't and opens aren't training because I don't have to go up at 5 and be on the road by 5. But yeah, left at 9:30, so that was a sleep in this morning.
Yeah, very casual, if you don't mind. Number 9 here, the right fielder Mays. And she's swung over that. So the 3 times that the Tigers have played the Eagles this year, Tigers have won all 3. The Eagles have only scored in one of those 3 games, would you believe? And the Tigers have obviously scored in all 3.
Yeah.
And 50 Shades of Grey pulls the arm back, and loved every minute of that as Trzynski catches that low outside edge. Well,
yeah, I think Seacombe are going to have to, so they'll be back at the top of the lineup. So trying to make an adjustment now against Steph. Striking out, they'll just want to try and get the ball in play here.
Coach Benedictson's just having a chat to Gray, and Karen's just ran down to Diamond 2, and she's going to give you a quick update. She's just got back.
Yep, that was...
Look at that. No, see, and for those that don't know about Karen, she does a lot of marathons. That's why you're sensing no short breath.
Yep. Pretty fast too. Over on Diamond 2, it's the top of the second, and the Walkerville Cats are up 3-0.
Wow.
Yep, good start for the Cats.
Caudle in the middle.
I assume so. I haven't looked at the
Because if Trzynski's strikeout count is 6, I'd be interesting to see. She's been a revelation for the Cats. But the one thing about the Cats too, when I was doing the data analysis of this game last night, it's the Cats 11 errors for the season. So you put that in context where maybe 3 years ago, I think at one stage the Cats were leading all comers with defensively in the field because they were getting the ball hit at them so much, and now all of a sudden. Totally different.
Yep.
Jackie Buell, the reliable right fielder, had a game milestone. She gets jammed by Diaz, and Mutsi takes a catch that didn't probably get into the path of the sun, but she still had to make it up the middle here, as we see on the Sporties Bar replay.
Back to the top.
Yeah, an easy take for Sasha there.
Maddie Scott's first at bat was a line drive caught well by Georgia Tompkinson at second base.
Yeah, Maddie's a threat here too because she's quick. She can put down a bunt. She can hit it hard. She can slap. You just don't know what she's going to do, so you need to be ready.
Now, other than the start and finish time of your commentary responsibilities today, which I obviously didn't share with you, one of the other responsibilities is Sparms, one of our sponsors here. We do have the Sparms player of the game, so just remember in the background that's a responsibility that I'm handballing to you because I've got enough people that don't like me. So as Scott fouls off, so if you guys can amongst yourselves come up with a player of the game at the end, that'd
Brandon
be great.
was looking to give you the microphone to go out.
Hey! Oh, a bit of TV time for KD. Coach Adams has handballed that very fast. So, well, there you go. Be excited. Karen Dale's going to be on camera at the end of this game. So, nicely done. And she's done the same thing again, Scott, but this time she's got a ball on the up.
Oh, she's read that really nicely out there.
And it's a great catch out there by Moyes at right field. But take us through that on the Sporty Bar replay.
She's just nice and calm out there. Yeah. She turned nicely. She read it in the right direction.
Yeah, Maddie just got under it a little.
Well, as she took that catch, Maddie was already halfway around first and on her way to second. Yeah. So a spilt ball there could have been anything.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. That's the thing. And, good runners like that, as soon as the ball is popped up, they will take off hard. And, like you said, a spill there could turn into a double, even a triple, depends where it goes. So.
Yeah. Amber Hood single to right field in her first at bat, takes one above the helmet. The Eagles look to capitalise on the dominance of Trzynski in her return to the circle today. The Tigers trying to sweep the Eagles 4-0 for the season and put a 2.5 game buffer on them. Hood rolls over this one here and
she's safe.
And just beats out the throw from Mutsi. And Dave Borovnik's had a couple of bang plays to call today, and that one, don't worry about tee-off time. He's got her through. Eagles have got a base runner. You see here on the Sporties Bar replay. Mutsi's throw, you just saw that it just had like a bit of an arc at the top of it.
And I think that she had to actually go back to it, wait for the ball to come, and then said Amber's quick. Yeah.
Who'd make those calls? Lana Kaysler in batting at 3 for the Eagles. In the top 5 hitters in the league this season, having another impressive year.
It's a bit of a luxury too, having your catcher who's got wheels come out and replace them with someone just as fast.
Yeah.
It's really unfair.
Catcher speed up rule in your day, Karen?
No.
Eagles test the arm of Peterson. Peterson as she releases the ball, you could see was just walking away, very unhappy with herself, as it's a very dusty infield, and I don't think she maybe got the grip on the ball that she wanted. She predicted it, she knew what was going to happen. Mutsi was in the spot, but the Eagles challenge, and not only do they get second, now they've got wheels at third. Danger time here for the Tigers.
That's aggressive running. Fantastic.
I know, sorry, Neely, I think I talked her up too soon.
Yes.
Chicks do.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's another one of those statistic changes when you do the analysis. Like last year, the Tigers were run on heavily. This year, nothing. You know, so again, they've been able to have their defence, you know, sit behind the pitches. DS, sometimes it's a, I mean, maybe not the worst walk in the world, but the problem is it's now Burridge, Hoyle, Trzynski. So runners in the corners, 2 out, the only thing in the Tigers' favour.
You know, Lana's pretty quick too, so money, the throw's got to be on the money if they're going to go for the runner.
High, Kaesler tries to draw the play. Well rehearsed, well executed, but the Tigers' defence hold their nerve. It's that throw to third that is a coach killer, as you just see here on the Sporty Bar replay. Shallow second comes in. Delayed version by Lana. Interesting to see what they do again here. Going all the way this time, and Peterson comes up throwing, no interest at second, only with an interest at third, and Shepherd takes a good take, but the runner gets back safely. So Burridge now, 1-1 count, 2 out, runners at 2 and 3, Eagles, big opportunity. Ground out to shortstop, Mutsi gets down low,
good pick.
And what a great field by Sasha Mutsi at there. And Becky Havers stepping into the infield, making it a little bit smaller, makes the play. Sporty Bar replay.
Nice shot.
Yeah.
Good solid throw and a great pick up there.
Becky's good with those ones in the ground. She's got a long stretch and gets her glove down. Yeah, she's always been pretty good.
All right.
So, 1 month to go. Now it's 2 weeks to go. CFS round. So we've got the Pride round this Saturday coming up, but then the following Saturday, we've got the CFS round up at Anembo Park, the home of the Hills Heat Softball Association. So there'll be a men's game followed by a women's game, and we've got a pitching change we'll get to in just a sec, so there's plenty happening here. So get around, support the CFS Foundation. Obviously they support the firefighters, volunteer firefighters of all the fire brigades that do such a great job up there. Always a well-run event. Again, there'll be some dignitaries up there, a couple of celebs, bit of fun. Always a great feed, a great night at Anembo Park, so be there. February 14th, if you're going to have Valentine's Day, have it up at Anembo Park and watch the Rebels take on the Heat before we bring the CFS round down to Adelaide. Karen, you got some news for us?
Do it?
Pitching change.
Pitching change.
Yep, Talia Sutton's coming in to pitch for the Eagles.
Yeah, Steph's gone out to centre field.
She went once through the lineup. So back to the top again.
So
I was about to say, let's see what adjustments they're going to make.
Yeah, exactly.
Change the pitcher, not a bad strategy, go once through.
Well, as I said, so the Tigers, Eagles, played 3 times this last year. Eagles have only ever scored once against them in the 3 games that they've played. Tigers have scored every game. And now, with effectively your season hanging by a thread, and here we are, Coach Lamry's had the faith to go to the youngster in Sutton, who, as I said, her ERA has been super impressive. It's just the field that's unfortunately not back to it. So, big job today for Sutton. And she's facing the Tigers at the top of their lineup, 3rd time round.
And Reagan's been a pitching coach with 18s for the last few months, so straight into it.
That's the best thing about state softball. Mates one day, enemies the next. It's a beautiful thing. But Isn't that good, though, how it brings somebody like Talia, who's obviously, getting extensive coaching from Dad Matt Sutton, who's obviously well-renowned, and then getting an opportunity with people like Reagan, who's obviously international experience. That's huge.
Reagan was fantastic with them. She taught them so much, not just about mechanics, but about everything with pitching. Very, very good. Oh, that's a nice pitch.
That's a really good change-up, but it's really well picked up by a national champion in Reagan Diaz. So she gets herself on board.
Yeah, she read that well, held her hands, drove it through.
Lovely pitch, though.
Yep.
All right, so here we go. Top 4, 0-0 ball game. Plenty on the line. Mutsi struck out. Now lays down a good bunt. Sutton jumps on it, comes up, throws. Burridge at second. Comes over to first. Takes the throw, but she's advanced the very, very fast Diaz. And now the Tigers, their 2 big power hitters, get an opportunity with a runner in scoring position.
It's a good play by Talia there, jumping on the ball. She didn't hesitate, she just went straight for it.
So Peterson this season has put a couple of balls over. She's shown she's got some immense power. Havers to follow. Swings over that one, dropping the right shoulder, suggesting that she's trying to lift that ball over left field. And Sutton levels that can up. So by her own testimony, I reckon she would be disappointed with the 208 average with Peterson. She doubles that with the amount of walks that she's received and a great eye. Runners in scoring position, hasn't had as many opportunities, but her batting average pretty much stays the same as she then takes another off-speed pitch there to level the count at 2-2.
Yeah, she's hard on herself too when she doesn't hit well, if she misses one. So
there's that jump out.
Yep.
I was talking about, Karen. I've been wanting to ask you, and of course, why not ask you when we're live on air?
Why not?
Sorry about the Sarah Tonkin reference there. I've always been wondered, because Tonks she gets over there early, and it's like she gives. Oh, Peterson gets underneath that. Kaesler has a think about it, but I think that might have bounced off the sun and just fallen outside foul. But I've always wondered, because of the thought of a pitcher, if she's throwing to a target or Hood, there's more of deceiving in there. She's now done it early, so just Peterson picks a walk after a good battle there with Sutton, and the Tigers now in the top of the 4th in a 0-0 game with plenty on the line have runners at 1 and 2. It's a pitching change. Sutton's come in. Becky Havas comes to the plate.
Good person to bring to the plate right now.
Batting 214, again, numbers probably lower than she would expect of herself. Obviously the talent. Hits this one hard up the middle. Burridge stays low, flips it over to Maddie Scott, and that's the Eagles defence that we remember, sharp and solid. As what a great double play that is, and I'll get you to walk us through that on the Sporties Bar replay.
That was impressive. Nice hard shot.
Yep.
Didn't hesitate.
No, perfect there. Flicked by Burridge.
I'd say they've probably practiced that a few times.
Yeah, that's right. And Maddie's got a great arm too.
Yeah.
Yeah, good feet too. She got over there quick and stepped through the line. Moving into the bottom of the 4th now. We're at the halfway point of this game. So it was a big change defensively with the young Sutton coming in, doing a good job, but the field backed her up.
Yeah, exactly.
Now the offence.
They would have taken a bit of momentum from that play.
Yeah.
See what they can do coming up with the back now.
Yeah.
Who have we got up, Hoyle?
So it's just Hoyle, Trzynski and the DP Holt. So, and Benedictson and then the DP Holt. So Coach Matt Sutton there doing some of the assistant work. I've also seen through my glasses that don't work. I can see that Danny Moffat's over there, who's returned down from Queensland doing some work with the Eagles. Coach Thomas and Coach Lamery. So they're on the edge of a historic three-peat, hard to get to. In your run, Karen, I think you had, what was the stretch at one point? 4?
Yeah, we got to 4.
And then took one off and then...
Yeah, we did 2, and then 1 off, did 4. Then took quite a few years to get the next 2, for me personally.
Yeah.
Got 6 within 8 years.
At the start of
at the start, and then took, I don't know, maybe 10 years, maybe a bit more to get the next one.
Well, that's why they're so important. You never know when they're going to come around again. Bottom of the 4th, Diaz leading off to Hoyle, who's had a reasonable day so far. Good catch in the field, but she's just hasn't had an opportunity to clear her hands. It'll be interesting to see whether or not she's caught up to Diaz's pace or whether or not Peterson's going to continue to mess around a bit. Low and inside seems to be the go.
Yeah, they won't want to give her any extension.
Well, yeah, you don't want a base runner, not with Trzynski to follow. Benedictson's got wheels. And Holt's been impressive in her first year. Up the middle, but what the... Reagan Diaz. Is there anything that she doesn't do well? Anything?
No, haven't seen anything.
No, haven't? Yeah, right, there we go. So that's why our picture's on the wall inside. State MVP last year. That ball has been cracked back at an alarming rate, and she's fielded that. Kyle, you would appreciate the underarm throw to Becky at first. Steph Trzynski comes to the plate at 1 out and gets brushed back off the plate. Sorry, Coach Adams, that's an inside joke. Just back in the day, my wife needed to have a relay between her and the first base person. We had to field shallow second.
You were going to regret this.
So, no, she never watches. Wasn't a big overrun throw unless she was out at left field. Good change up there as she goes ahead and, oh, no, not rewarded. So a good pitch by Diaz. 1-1. Important a couple of at-bats here for the Eagles, because the next time they come back round, they will be at the top of their line, and it'll be the 3rd time they've seen Diaz, and that tends to be when the Eagles unlock things. So they'll need to keep the pressure on.
Yeah, but I'm wondering if there'll be a pitching change with Whitney Shepherd coming on,
Yeah.
which they have tended to do, Seacombe.
Well, I've just been trying to watch her in the field as far as is she been doing any sort of limbering, and doesn't seem so yet. Trzynski leans back over the head of left field. Trzynski's going to test that ankle out and and just jog over to second, and that'll do. Coach Lamery points. She's happy with that, and the Eagles get their base runner in scoring position, and the youngsters Benedictson and Holt here on the Sporty Bar replay.
Yeah, she was all over that pitch. Bianca couldn't do much out there but just chase.
Coach Lamery backs the youth in and lets Benedictson green light, clear her hands. She does, meeting the ball at the top of the bat, fouls it off. Genuine wheels at second. It's only 1 out. Holt, Beale, and then the return to the top of the lineup, which has seen the ball well. Beale, Benedictson just knocks this one down, and the ball's just gone hard out to second base, and Tompkins has come in and done the fielding.
Yep, just kept her head right over that. Watched it right into her glove. Well done.
Oh, well done. That is good fielding.
Very nice play.
Tompkinson's always been impressive at second. She's just rock solid, great contributor, always fights with the bat. Speaking of fighting with the bat, Caitlin Holt, the DP for today, comes in with a squeeze, maybe?
I don't think she was going. No.
Impressive ribbon work by Holt. Trzynski's now at third, but it's 2 out. See what the youngster has got in store. Tigers defence all still sitting deep. And Holt chases it up. Big step. So
Make an adjustment here.
Eagles 60 feet away from a lead going into the 5th. Just there on the Sporties Bar replay, we just saw a great camera angle. Ball just missing. And that's a good swing, but it's a better pitch.
Yeah, it's a good pitch.
So the Eagles threaten yet again. The Tigers will be coming through the bottom half of their lineup. The Eagles will be coming through the top part of their lineup. It's the top of the 5th. Game on. I think I've got one more graphic. Should be green. Adelaide, new softball executive committee as of the 1st of April. So there's a new committee that's going to be formed to take the Adelaide competition forward into the future. It'll be a committee made up of 6, 7, 8 particular positions, and then the clubs will form a group of delegates underneath that and provide feedback. So Adelaide trying to transition as it moves towards its own association in the goal in the future. So we're looking for new people such as myself, the Joe Liddells, who've been in the trenches the last 2 or 3 years. We've done our best, but we need some new faces and some new energy there to make us forward. So reach out to AdelaideComp@softballsa.com.au or have a chat to me if you wanted to have any questions about it. But yeah, we would love to see some new faces and help take the best Premier League competition of softball in the country forward into the next gen. So as we now move here into the top of the 5th, Yep. This inning's going to ask you about your best moment at the Nationals. I'm going to try and intertwine that here in a 0-0 ball game where there's everything happening. We'll run down to Diamond 2 and give you an update there as well. So it's Cameron at the plate. Yep. Classes do work. So you don't have to go quiet while you're thinking about your best moment at the Nationals. You can keep talking, that's all right.
Oh,
So
I can't think and just think and talk at the same time.
So Cameron at the plate. The impressive Whitney Shepherd on deck, to be followed by Tomlinson, Pash and Mays. Tigers leads over. Maddie Scott, if you don't mind, on the hunt for votes, has done a great piece of fielding there. She's attacked that ball without hesitation, picked it up on the jump, and that's flash work there by the Australian Spirit.
That's not Maddie's bread and butter. Like, she loves that on the, run in on it and throw on the run. She was, so good at opens doing that. Like, she really attacked the ball. So many plays that we got just from her running in, attacking the ball, and then her arms still on the run.
And just knowing she practices over and over. Like, she just reads the ball beautifully. There's just no doubt on that. She had it the whole way. And clever at first with Hoyle there, coming off and going for the tag. Very, very clever.
I'd expect Marcelina to do that. I'd expect White to do that. Expect is a big word, but Scott, obviously in that category. That's a difficult play, and she's made that easy. Hoyle took that ball 4 or 5 feet down the line. That's how quick she was when she attacked it. So, excuse me, Shepherd at the plate at the moment, coming off of an impressive 23s. And as I said, she's been a find for the Tigers. She's number 2 in their lineup offensively, just behind Diaz. She goes over to Scott, who has a different type of ball to field this time. Now she's got to go back, shows her range of skill, and that arm as she goes back on this hard hit ball and throws a rocket over to Hoyle.
Yeah, when you're talking about training, like she does, she trains hard and she sets the standard. When the 23s and stars were training, like she was always out there, you know, setting the standard for the girls. This is how we train, laying out the balls, you know, even at training. So it's great to have the young ones up there, you know, training with her. Absolutely.
Well, it's difficult when your dad's who he is. You've got some pedigree to follow. There's not too many outs, is there? So, but good. Yeah, she's earned all of the flowers that she gets. Tompkinson here, the second base, being good in the field today, but the Tigers need her with the bat. 2 out. Gets underneath this one. Trzynski's going back. Lost it in the sun, I think, for a second. She's recovered it, and Tompkinson runs into second, and that might just ignite the Tigers. And we'll get a look at it on the Sporty Bar replay. Sorry, I was just looking at the cutest bat person I've ever seen. Just come and recover the bat.
Yeah, that was good. Amber had actually just called in the infield a little bit, the outfield a bit. So I think they were all reasonably shallow. So for her to get hold of that and put it over centre.
Swung the bat hard.
Yeah.
So Bianca Pash comes to the plate. Seacombe have had a barbecue running all day today, so still running for a little bit longer. So if you haven't had a feed yet, get around. Bacon and egg rolls, sausages, orange juice. So, and good piece there, fouled off. Quiz night next week. So Tigers, everything's happening down there at Seacombe, but they need Bianca Pash right now to follow her teammate in Tompkins here. Take on Sutton, grounds out over to Burridge, stays low, calm as you like, and that's why they've won the last 2 back-to-back.
And that's all Talia needs to do is just, you know, trust her field, get the ball in play, those ground balls, and her field will do the job for her.
That's right.
So we'll start with you, Karen. Under 18s over in Sydney, an impressive week. Obviously, you know, difficulties with the squad numbers and selection, but you worked and put your program forward, and then on that stage just delivered over the course of the week. What was the best thing about it?
I can't say that there was one best moment. I will say the best feeling was when we won our first final, and we knew then that we'd gone one better than the year before. So that was a great feeling, but there were so many great moments when our team were just hitting back to back to back. There was no one person that everyone relied on. We relied on everyone. You know, that was going to be the only thing to get us through.
Yeah.
Our goal was to play, train and win as one, and that's what we had to do. It was a great little unit. They all had each other's backs. It was a really positive environment. So just to see them all step up when it counted, and to see the belief they had in themselves, I think that was the difference. That really was. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
What's so, you know, question without notice, what's the plan moving forward? Looking to do that type of thing again, or follow the group through?
Go to coach. Look, I don't know. It's the one thing I find most difficult with the under 18 age group is that you get them for 2 years.
Yeah.
If you're lucky, you get them for 3. But just at that point,
Jackie Beale, the number 9, comes up, and Shepherd's gone and
quite safely
fielded the ball, and she's thrown it over, and it's missed first base, and the Eagles out of nowhere have a base runner at 2, and Coach Flammery.
That was nice.
Yeah, that was good.
Making something happen. Yep.
So Shepherd's throw was just on the inside of Tompkinson, who'd already committed to the base. Good backup by the youngster out of right.
A little bit of a fumble here.
That's
could have taken the extra base, but you don't want to get out on that.
So Maddie Scott's line drive to to second base, and then gone deep to right field. So anything's possible here. Don't think for a moment that she can't hit the other side of the diamond, because I've seen her do that plenty times where she just turns inside out with the ball, centre right, centre left.
Oh,
there it is. She'll score on that easy.
So Bill will score Scott in a hurry, round second, rounding third. She's going all the way. Throw comes from the cutoff at the plate. And Maddie Scott, infield, home run, Eagles 2, Tigers 0. Coaches, unpack that for us on the Sporting Bar replay.
That was impressive.
Yeah. Well, you said it, Anthony, that ball that she gets inside out, and that was right in the gap. And with her speed, she's always going to look for home. That cut-off was probably really deep, so, good job to Coach Lamery to seeing that and sending Maddie.
They looked a little bit short, to be honest, knowing that she can hit the ball very hard and long.
Yep.
But she scored easy in the end and didn't hesitate. And look, as a base runner, you got to keep going until you're held up. That minute you think, I don't think I'll make it, and hold up, that's the difference. But no, she was going for it.
She was pretty keen, and like the relay set from Seacombe wasn't necessarily bad. Peterson had the ball in the right spot.
Got
it was just Scott beat him for speed.
Took on the arm.
Hood goes to carry the momentum on and then pulls out at the last second, and the ball just comes off the bat for a foul tip. Well,
yes.
That's
So I was saying that's the hardest bit about the 18s is only having them for 2 years, three if you're lucky when you get them coming up through 18s. But
Hood gets underneath this one, drops the shoulder. Tompkinson looking into the sun.
Got her hand up there.
That's
nice and safe.
That's experience of a young player shown there.
Playing with a lot of confidence there.
That's really good.
Yeah,
you're right. I mean, and obviously you see coaches sort of carry groups through and stuff like that. How many of those players that you've got age out?
We only lose 3.
Yeah.
But look, I do love this age group because I think there's a lot of stuff I can offer them at that age group. So I really enjoy it. I'm just saying that's a downside of it. I really enjoy working with that.
Had a pretty good crew too. Linda Martin's handy assistant.
She goes all right.
Williams on the books. You got Pash in the workout room.
She kept the team together. My goodness.
It's a pretty cool setup.
Without Kathy Pash with us, we would not have made it that far. We had both our shortstops out with knee injuries. They both came back on the diamond because of the work she does. We had poor Zoe. Every body part I think was hurting on her. And again, if it wasn't for Kathy, she wouldn't have been back out there. And she was such a solid player for us. So definitely worth her weight in gold.
Kaysler looking to try and keep momentum.
Third walk
for the day. And Lana that's unfortunately just her MO, and I can imagine, I can't actually imagine because it would never happen to me, but I could just imagine what it must be like to be that genuinely feared that the only player I can think of off the top of my head, Karen, would be Marianne, who would just be frustrated as anything because is there any chance that anybody's going to throw me a strike today so I can play? Well, no, because the chances are that you're going to put that ball into a car park somewhere. So,
but great pitch selection.
Fantastic. You've still got to be disciplined to stay out. So, but now, obviously we fall into that mid pack of the Eagles offense. So, it is a step down. Burridge, Oil, Krasinski. It's
pick your poison there.
100%. So Benedictson here talking to his Chargers, Lamery and Sutton talking to the Eagles. Remember, this game huge for the Eagles. They're 1.5 games behind the Tigers, but the Tigers have got a couple of games in hand. The Falcons are tied with the Eagles at the moment, so everything matters here. So this win here, this is finals like. Runner at 1 out. We're in the bottom of the 5th. Burridge to second base at the plate. Tigers expecting it short and played on that. Good cover. Kaysler didn't leave the base. Low. Tigers again covering up. Feel some tension suddenly in the air. The hot air's gone for a second as now it's thinking that big play, big moments, this is where things get sorted out. Diaz still throwing hard, but Burridge forcing her to throw the count. Hoyle carefully looking at that speed. She's had 2 opportunities, jammed both times and hasn't cleared. Eagles would love another base runner. Burridge leans into it. Difficult play out at left field. Well taken by Bianca Pash. It's in the air a long time, and she's taken a good...
Just a bit jammed again.
Really good catch looking into the sun. Well, Diaz is still throwing rockets.
Yeah.
Even in this heat, we're past the hour mark. Let's see the evolution of Sophie Hall here in this game. Or will Peterson take the speed away?
Oh.
No. Gets underneath it. Not an easy catch. But Cameron makes it look easy, and the Tigers return the favour after the hot double play by the Eagles last innings, and they get out of it, but not before the big play at the start of the innings where Maddie Scott capitalised on Jackie Bills on base and scored 2 as the Tigers now chasing 2 for a tie, 3 for a win, and probably got another bat in them. And we'll see how this goes. Might even go 7. Aqaba Hotel, great supporters of the ASA. The presentation night on the 23rd of March for the ASA will be held at the Aqaba Hotel. Details coming out this week. Look for the posters and check in with your clubs. All right, Coach Dale did a very good job. Coach Adams, National Championship, Open Women's, under 23 head coach. You've taken them to 2 national championship finals in your first 2 years. The second year under massive duress in regards to the conditions, the rainouts. You took the rainouts up to Queensland this time round. So you've done it the hard way. So something from the 23, something from the Open Women's.
Yeah, the 23s, we were ready to go, and it was actually quite hard because most of our team we hadn't actually trained as a full squad until we got to Brisbane, because half of our team were a lot of college girls, so they were more or less flying into Brisbane, and just meeting each other there. And because of the rain, we weren't actually able to have our training. So we did a lot of batting in the cages leading up.
Tash May's leading off Seacombe here, top of the 6th, the right fielder.
Yeah, so we, and just trying to, keep moving, because we didn't want to be sitting in the hotel for days until we finally got to start playing. Dropping back to a 1 round was frustrating too, but it's just something the girls just took on and
still had to play the Invitational against China.
Yeah, we still had to play the Invitational against China. Our first game against
Mays again fouls this one off and falls behind in the count, but she's in there fighting against Sutton.
Yeah, our first game against WA, I think our lead-off Olivia Elliott started with a triple, and then young Abby Bastion come up with a single to score, and it was, that first day I was just like, okay, here we go. And we had a great batting lineup from 1 to 9.
Sutton rolls that drop down. May swings over the top of it. Now she gets the Tigers 3rd time round. First time for her, though. It's the top of the lineup in Reagan Diaz.
But yeah, those girls, like I said, Abby Bastion, she was the youngest in our team, still playing under 18s, but she was one of our strongest players in the field. She was solid. She was great. She was, hitting in the 2 spot and hitting, bunting, stealing. I'm not sure if she had 5 or 6 steals or something.
Yeah. Yeah, she's a big talent. That's why she's in those future Australian squad. She's just nipping at the heels there of some of those. Talking about players like Maddie Scott who work hard. I mean, every time I see Abby Bastion, she's either fielding something or she's, Steve Smith air swinging. It never ends.
And she's just a sponge. Like at training, she just listens to everything. Like Brie Marcelino and Maddie, they would just be talking the whole time.
Diaz has been cautious, unlike her in the first couple of pitches of her at bat. but then explodes on the outside and puts it going towards right centre, but it's fouled off and gone over right field. Behind in the count.
But yeah, I think our semi-final against Queensland was definitely up there. We got off to a good start and, got that win and had the game break. Grand final, I'm still pretty, still reeling over that. I've only just been able to bring myself to watch it. A game that,
So
should have been ours.
Happy that I brought it up then. Sorry about that.
No, that's
information
okay.
that might have been helpful 60 seconds ago.
Yeah.
But
but
Diaz swings over the top of this one, fighting anything close.
Still pretty proud of the girls for getting there. We played hard through the week, and having the one round, it does make it hard because you have to win to get to make finals. So trying to make that rotation of players.
She was injured too.
She was injured leading into the grand final too. So like Whitney had been our workhorse, but she was one of those girls. Yep, give me the ball, I'll do it. Super glue on the fingers, and
Diaz stays off that one here. She's behind in the count, but this is a very, very mature at bat. She's normally a firecracker at the plate, all energy, but she's going to make this one count. And now the count, she's come back from two strikes, no balls to a full count. Mutsi, who executed a great bunt in her last at-bat. And then, of course, the power hitters, Peterson and Havas, to follow. And Diaz wins the battle after being behind. So it'll be interesting to see here, one out. Will Mutsi play an advancing game with the power hitters to come, or will he try and get multiple base runners?
But yeah, Open Women's obviously, the standard obviously was the grand final.
Yeah, and what part of it was it? Was it the time delay to start the game? Was it the sun delay once the game started? Was it the rain delay?
Yeah.
Or was it the fog that came in? Which one of those?
Everything just added to the drama of it, didn't it? I've never experienced, and the atmosphere there was amazing. It was so loud. We had the under 14 girls come out and cheering. Yeah, it was at one point you just literally couldn't hear trying to talk across the diamond, yell across the diamond.
As a board director of Softball SA, I was a little concerned that the under 14s were setting off flares down the left field line late in the game, but then I was told that it was fog, so I was able to take a deep breath and sort of step back. So yeah, it was a really good game.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So watching it, the fog on screen looked really intense. Was it that intense when you were there on the ground? It
definitely was. Like that one, I think that last catch that Queensland had went out to Jade Wool, it was kind of like, oh, okay, trying to see it, and like on ground level, it was really quite thick. So yeah, I was half expecting them to call a delay for it.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, everyone was kind of like, no, we don't want no more delays. Let's just get it done.
Yeah.
But yeah, once we tied it up, I just knew we had to tie it up and we'd win it from there.
Tompkinson has fouled off the last couple over the commentary group here, and the very speedy Diaz still at first base, but it's one out. So having to be cautious. You can see that Diaz wants nothing more than to steal that 60 feet, which he has done plenty of times this season. But knowing the play at the moment and knowing how important it is, trusting the bat of the shortstop from the Tigers, flies it out, and shallow catch taken by Burridge. Makes it 2 out. So Diaz is at first, as we see here in the Sporty Bar replay, another one of those difficult catches looking into the sun. Who designed this time? And now the power hitters of Peterson and Havas. Both threatened, but haven't gone through yet.
Yeah, but that last hit of Millie is like, I was just thinking that was going over.
That was just so close.
It wasn't. Like, just
so
until I hit the top of the fence. Oh, yeah, but... Yeah, and she'd been good. She'd been clutch coming in and through the week, coming into games. And we had to, we did it tough through the week. We didn't go out there and win easily. We come from behind quite a few times. So I think
Peterson swings over that off-speed pitch by Sutton, well called by Eberhood. You're right, 100%. Like that's. But you won the big moments.
Yes.
I think that was the important part. And again, I would imagine it'd be a similar thing to the 23s where that team wouldn't get a lot of time together.
No.
But for it to gel, for Kilfoyle to come in and just gel with the team like it looks like she'd been there for years.
Yep.
You know, her rep with Peterson, you know, was grand.
Nice shot.
What a shot.
She nearly got that.
Nearly got that by Maddie Scott, that line drive. Peterson just showing a glimpse of the power that enables her to hit the ball at a long distance, and that will give some confidence to Havas.
Oh, yeah, crushed it.
Oh, gee, that's a good shot. So,
but yeah, you know, so some of those girls, they hadn't played together, and you know, we had a couple of draft players as well, because we did from our original squad, we had a few pull out. So
yep, Jess Rohde was one of those
Jess
from Queensland.
Jess Rohde was great coming in from Queensland. Jade Jensen from New South and Paige Smith from WA. They all played a part.
Speaking of playing a part, Becky Havas has had this played before her many a time for the Tigers, where they've turned and looked to her. She is the go-ahead run here in the top of the sixth. The speed of Diaz at second, the power of Peterson at first. Cameron to follow on deck. They're chasing two. Eagles will return for probably one more back as this game comes to a conclusion. Hood makes sure that there's no ball over the back net there. Intentionally walk, Karen, to bring up.
I wouldn't be
4 and 5.
I wouldn't be
5 and 6.
I wouldn't be putting the tying run on second if you can help it.
Yeah. Well, whether it was deliberate or not, it's happened.
I'd be surprised if it was.
So now it's 2 out, and it's the young centre fielder Hannah Cameron. She's going to come to the plate. Whitney Shepherd becomes a very, very dangerous on-deck hitter here, but it's 2 out, and Coach Lemery, multi-premiership coach now with the Eagles, takes this opportunity, and I haven't seen Coach Lemery go out to the middle too much, normally because her leg's in a boot or she's got some type of leg or knee injury or something, or she just doesn't want to go out. But I would suggest that if Coach Lemery's going out to the middle on a 36-degree day in the first week of February, it means something.
Just having a look at Diamond 2, this is saying it's still top 3, which seems early, but it is 9-0 to
Sure.
Walkerville. So either I scores on a bit of a pause or it is only top 3. But.
Well, if you don't want to trust a nice score, wander down here tonight. Diamond Bar open till late for the big game tonight. Port Adelaide Magpies play the Sturt Falcons. Huge game for the Falcons, especially in the back of this result. So, bases loaded. Cameron, the centre fielder, 2 out at the plate, top of the 6th. Tigers chasing 2. Ground out, Burridge, she's done that last innings and she's done it in this innings. And you've said it before, Coach Adams, you said it before, Coach Dale. Pitcher comes in, uses the field, and, you know, I talked about it at the start of the game, how important it was in regards to the fact that, you know, the Eagles' defence this year just was making a lot of errors that's just uncharacteristic. And today, we've seen sharp double plays, good catches into the sun, solid defence. Trzynski blows them away early, but Sutton, while she's got into a couple of jams, the field's got her out of every one of them.
I always say to the young pitchers as they're coming through, stop trying to strike batters out and start trying to get the ball into play where you want it. So you wanted a ground ball then, and the pitch was beautiful, got the ground ball that she wanted.
I would suggest that whoever invented the drop ball didn't do it because they thought it would be a cool strikeout pitch.
Right.
I think it was the pitch designed by an infielder that just wanted the ball to get hit to them occasionally. And, you know, that's why it happened. So very important for the Tigers not only to keep the Eagles not scoring, but they've got 6 minutes to retire them so they get another shot at it. So... and don't forget your obligations. Sparms player of the game. So
What if we don't do it?
I've known Karen Dale a long time, and normally when Karen tells me that nothing's going to happen, I tend to just nod my head and go with it. So, look, we can have a Sparms player of the game without going out there, if that's what you're talking about. There is a bit of shade in front of us. It's a difficult pick because Trzynski's been impressive, Scott's been impressive, Diaz has been impressive, Hood's been impressive. Whitney Shepherd has to wait an eternity for that ball to bounce down to her, and she does, and the Tigers get a very much needed lead-off out on the Sporty Bar replay.
Good arm too.
5 minutes now. So Tigers will want this quick. Eagles will want to drag it out. And Diaz has made her intentions clear.
She's dialed it up a bit, hasn't she?
And she's not throwing around the zone. It's hit this if you can. Benedictson at the plate. Caitlin Holt. The DP is on deck, which means it's Beale, and then we're back to the top. And Coach Lamry will be happy to see that. A foul ball, another pitch, and another 30 seconds goes down there. Benedictson again. Diaz challenges the hands, but Benedictson's hands well out in front. Lots of pressure here. Gets jammed again in the same spot as Benedictson and has the same repeat out that she did last time. She just, that inside pitch just can't get that right hand through, and 2 outs to the Tigers. So you would suggest that that means that they're going to get another at bat.
Georgia Tompkinson was good there. She come in and attacked it. No, it was a bit of a slow roller.
Yep.
She played very well there today.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, she's defensively been good and
got the hit.
Got the hit
Yep.
with that, got them started. So good work by the youngster. Holt here. I would suggest, unless there's a hit in the next at bat, I have a sneaking suspicion that the Tigers will get one last roll of the dice, and they will be in the bottom part of their lineup before coming back to the top. And the Eagles, of course, will then get a right of reply if they are able to tie it up. Holt, though, here in front of the count. And that'll make Coach Lamry happy. It's a base runner, which means another batter and another 30 seconds wasted. And Bill, as the great man Lindsay would say, his favourite number 9, because she can get taken out to delay a game at the best time. So just looking to see what's going on here. Bit of gamemanship by the looks of it. But Jackie Bill, the ever reliable number 9, can slap, can bunt, can hit. So is it a batter coming in or just a runner?
I think it might be a runner.
A runner
Not
for
with that
Holt?
oven glove.
No.
You know Ryan bought Kylie one of those for Christmas? I said, your mother hasn't slid, mate, in 52 years, champs.
Did he actually think it was an oven glove?
Kylie thought it was that, so. All right, so we've had a runner come in for the Eagles. Nice little delay there. And Beale now, she'll be taking, I would expect, maximum amount of pitches, because it's now 4:23, which means it's getting close. Down and low. Diaz, she's been trying to quick pitch this innings, and it's the last batter. It's thrown her radar out now because she's just trying to hustle through, but you understand it. The discipline, Bill.
Yeah.
Probably Coach Lamry couldn't be happier to have her at the plate at this particular moment as she goes ahead in the count. 0-3. 0-4. So Diaz's last 8 pitches have been balls.
with the time to literally walk to first.
Yeah. And Maddie Scott, who's one of the contenders for the Sparms Player of the Game, and Coach Lamry just making
just
sure.
to seal the deal.
Yeah, we've all done it.
Yes.
It's 4:24, but Maddie Scott, who's been a lightning in the field and has had a long shot. Oh, another pinch runner. Jackie Bill. And so a couple of the youngsters for the Eagles getting out on field, and they've intentionally walked Maddie Scott. So I don't think Coach Lamry's got anybody left on the bench to go to. So it's going to come down to Amber Hood. 2 out, bases loaded.
Interesting. That's time.
Well, we're at that right now, so see what happens in the next 60 seconds. Ball 9 from Reagan. Needs to challenge the hitters here. Because the quick pitching, the worst thing would be a walked run.
Yep.
Because that would seal it.
It's 26 passing.
Howard over to Tompkinson. Georgia does a great job. She's been great in the field today, but Blue Grey has thrown his arms in the air and called it. It's thirsty drink time, and the Eagles, in a very, very important game, have run out winners 2-0. And Coach Dale, Coach Adams, your Sparms Player of the Game is?
We're going with Maddie.
Yep.
Maddie Scott?
Yep.
Yeah, very good, very good. Thank you so much for doing this on short notice. We really appreciate it. I mean, we could talk forever, but some great insight there about your nationals, and just a glimpse of, some of the coaching that some of the players in our state get. As I said, I wasn't lying when I said 2 of the best coaches in the country, and we're just lucky that we've got some talent. We just need some more to get some exposure to people like yourselves. The 23s will come. You can't keep on falling short by 1 or 2.
Yeah, I know.
And I think that Nationals thing, I think that's definitely got you across the line. And Karen, great job with the 18s. That was just amazing. And thank you for all that you've done. So we'll catch up Maddie afterwards. We won't put her on camera and stress her out. So producer Brandon's happy with that. Wednesday night, it's a repeat of last Wednesday night. Sturt versus Hills. Kylie Weatherstone will be making her on debut play-by-play as she gets ready to call the CFS game. So she'll be doing some work there, and we'll help her out get through it. But amazing to have people of your calibre in today, and thank you for everything that you've done for the state teams and also your club teams as well. So hopefully in the future we can get back and carry on the conversation a bit more.
Thank you.
No worries. Thanks for having us on it.
Producer Brandon, that's a great Saturday. It worked out well. It's worked out well for the Eagles. They've stay in the 4 and make the job for the Falcons, who play the Magpies at 7 o'clock tonight. Season ticket holder only. Get down here early for a car park. It's going to be a big game at 7, but the Eagles have run out 2-0 winners over the Tigers.